We're Mel and Susan Finlay, National Directors of NationNet Prayer.
Today, we're talking with the Honourable Christy Clark, Premier of British Columbia, who joins us from Victoria. Welcome, Premier.
Thank you very much, Susan and Mel. It's an honor to be with you today.
We're delighted you have joined us. It's interesting. A condition of BC joining Confederation was that the railroad be built so traffic could flow easily across the country. A lot of things have changed since that time to the mutual benefit of both Canada and BC. As leader of the province, can you bring to life for us some of the distinctive contributions that British Columbia makes to the rest of the country?
Well, you know, it's interesting that you would frame the question around the railway, because I think, you know, the most obvious advantage that British Columbia brings to Canada is our geographic location. As the heartbeat of the world, kind of the economic heartbeat of the world, has moved to Asia, it's becoming increasingly important that our country increase our trade and our relationships with Asians. So with Japan, with Korea, with China, with India, Taiwan, Singapore, you name it. So all of those connections that British Columbia can make the easiest because we are the closest, I think is a very big advantage for us. I think second, we have here in our province vast, almost inexhaustible amounts of natural gas. And that, I think, could be an advantage for British Columbia, like oil is for Alberta and manufacturing is for Ontario. It could represent an industry so large it would be a very, very big contribution to the country once we're able to build the pipeline to export it. The third, of course, though, is again related to Asia, because we have welcomed people from all over the world here to British Columbia, and in particular to Vancouver and Victoria. And it's become one of the most cosmopolitan places on earth. And I think that's made our province a real hotbed of new ideas and a place where new thinking is happening really at the cutting edge. And I think you're going to see British Columbia continue, because of that, to make a very big and hopefully an outsized contribution to Canada.
With all of those exciting developments, what are the 2 or 3 greatest challenges facing BC at this time?
Well, I think some of the challenges that we have aren't that different from challenges that other places in the country and around the world have. The most important question I think facing us is, how do we navigate what's been a really difficult time financially and economically for people around the Western world? You know, how do we navigate that so that we can protect jobs in the province and protect revenues that we rely on to pay for healthcare and education and those kinds of things? And I think that's probably the biggest challenge. Now, we've been doing well here. We have the second best record in growth of jobs in the country after Alberta. We've added about 61,000 net new jobs in the last year. So we're navigating it pretty well so far, but it takes a lot of focus, and it's a very big challenge. And I think the second one is related to that, which is, how do we support families better? Because I believe that the most important structure in any society is a family. And, you know, the hardest work in the world is the work that parents do in raising kids with character and with morals and with all those, you know, all the guidance that they're going to need to become great citizens in our country. That's a really tough job. And so government has to find ways to value and respect what families do, I think, better. And one of the most important things that we can do to help families along the path is to free them from financial worry by making sure that there are enough family supporting jobs out there that everybody can go to work, take home a paycheck, and not have to worry about being able to look after their kids or their aging parents or whoever it is in their family that they love.
Within those challenges, leadership can be challenging. What are the 2 or 3 greatest challenges of being Premier?
Well, I am a mom, so I have to say, on a personal level, balancing the demands of the job and my duty to serve the public with the demands and the needs of my own family is a real challenge. So that's hard, I think. And I think a lot of parents, moms in particular who are watching, might connect with that, because, you know, it's not like mine is the only busy job in the world, although it is there's a lot of travel and it's pretty busy. So, and you know, I think for my son, reading some of the things in the newspaper about me that people say or whatever it is tough for him too, although it builds a thick skin. That's part of it. I think though, part of it is just trying to find the courage to do the right thing. I think, you know, people want courage in politicians, and oftentimes it means that I have to do things that people disagree with, but I think it's the right path to take for the province. So, you know, I think that's the hard part, because many times, as with many, many decisions that we face, and we learn this in the Bible, it's much easier to make a short-term decision that will make everybody happy, or that will make your life a little bit easier, than it is to make a long-term decision that's good in the, you know, that's good for the future, but maybe tough in the short run. And I think that's the challenge that all politicians face.
Thank you, Premier. We pray that God will give you judgment and the leadership you require, and that He will bless and guide all elected representatives in British Columbia.